I'm going to share with you 3 game-changing strategies that will help you be able to be listened to when you are speaking with a group or perhaps in your business setting. These strategies are going to absolutely help you navigate some of those challenges that come up when you are wanting to be heard in a business type setting or at work. So you want to definitely watch the video to the very end because I'm going to share with you a very, very amazing opportunity that you'll want to definitely be a part of. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity that I want to share with y'all today. So as people are joining the live today, I want to let you know you can expect some very high level strategies today to talk about these 3 aspects of really helping you to be able to communicate at that higher level as a woman in leadership. And as people are coming into the live, I will definitely acknowledge you and say hello. If I'm in the middle of showing or explaining something, then I will absolutely make sure I acknowledge you as soon as I take a break because I want to make sure the lives are very structured. I know a lot of you are watching the lives on the replay, and I want to make sure that everything flows the way that it should. So it'll be a bit different than what I have done in the past, but I'm hoping that it helps you. Place some things in the comments below if you are ready to learn 3 strategies that will help you be able to communicate at that higher level so that when you speak, people will listen to you. So just put a yes in the chat if you are ready to go. I'm excited for you to be here. And if you find any value out of the video today, would appreciate it so much if you like the video and also subscribe if it's something that you would like to learn more information about. I know that I have a lot of women in leadership on my channel, but I do recognize that I have other individuals that may not be in that audience that are followers as well. So I'm glad that you all are here, regardless of where you are on your journey. It just shows that you're incredibly passionate about enhancing your leadership skills. So I want to say hello. Oh, hello, Joy. Hi, how are you? Great to see you. Welcome. Glad that you are here today. Fantastic. All right. So the very first thing, when you are trying to make sure when you speak that other people actually are listening to you, is to focus on your body language and your appearance. Your body language is very, very important. But before we even go into that, we're going to do a very brief executive coaching exercise. Are you ready? The very first exercise we're going to do is I want you all to think about that best version of yourself. How would that best version of yourself speak? How would they conduct themselves? What would they look like? So take just a moment to kind of envision that person. You can either write this down if you want to write it down. You're welcome to close your eyes and imagine what this person looks like. But this person, this best version of yourself, is very important in terms of how we are going to help you be able to work on your body language and your appearance. So once you have that person in your mind, you know what this person is going to look like, how they're going to act. So now we need to get to that person, right? We need to get to that person. So your body language is very important. Have that best version of yourself always at the very forefront of your mind because that's who you need to try to emulate yourself as. So if that means you need to change your wardrobe or change how you speak and how you communicate, that's one of the reasons why you should subscribe to the channel so that you learn more information and are able to really communicate at that higher level. So absolutely want to work on your body language. When you're talking to someone, making sure that you are engaging them with eye contact is critically important. This is one of the biggest challenges that people have because I've talked about this a lot on my channel, and for those of you who are on the live who are typically here, Guillermo, hello, welcome. We talk about this quite a bit. We talk about eye contact. And if you remember what I shared with you about eye contact is that majority of people are not comfortable with making eye contact. They do not like it. It's something about eye contact when somebody's just staring at your face and staring in your eyes that can sometimes make you feel like, I don't know what to do. But on many of the videos, and I'll recap it for those of you who are new to the live today, but most of the videos we talk about a couple of things. When you're making that eye contact, try your best not to be the first person to look away. Because if you're the first person that looks away, then oftentimes you're the person that's showing that, okay, I'm not entirely comfortable with this, I'm going to look away. But if you are trying to present yourself as an executive and as that leader, then leaders can maintain eye contact for as long as they need to. Of course, you're going to blink, and you don't want to just stare at somebody and not blink at all, because then that looks just really weird. But you don't want to be that kind of person or that kind of leader. So making sure you have direct eye contact is important. And make sure you are not the first person to look away. Try not to look away as best as you can. All right. Hello, Sama. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here. If you have any questions as it relates to learning how to really communicate at that higher level, or being able to be listened to when people speak to you, then put it in the comments below. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'm here to support you on your journey. Now, the next type of strategy I want you all to use is to really control your body language. We talked about eye contact already. We talked about that best version of yourself. And for those of you watching the replay or just joining, you are welcome to take a look at this in a few moments and go back and go through that exercise, because it will really help you. So before I go into body language and controlling your nonverbal gestures, I do want to address Sama. So Sama, you're welcome to go ahead and put the question that you have in the chat. And as long as it's related to professional development, etc., I'll be happy to help you. So go ahead and put that in there, and I will answer your question. Okay, so we talked about nonverbal. So nonverbal is something that's important. You want to make sure that your hands and your body and your fingers and your head are not doing things that can detract away from your confidence. For example, sometimes if you're in a setting where you're communicating with a team or your business or other people in your job, if you feel a bit intimidated, people may start to look away, they may look down, or they may fidget a bit with their hands. And one of the best suggestions I can give to you is, if you are a fidgeter, like you move your hands quite a bit, and maybe you're the person that has a pen and you pop the tops off the pen, because it happens all the time when people are really nervous. Have your hands in a clasped position, just like this, like this. That is the best way for you to still appear very poised and in control, to the point that you look like you have it together. Even though inside you may be feeling a bit nervous and you're really worried, this is a great way for you to be able to control yourself. So if you have to just white knuckle your fingers a little bit, as long as nobody sees it, I think you'll be all right. So make sure you control your body. If you're not comfortable doing that, then just put your hands on top of each other, like this. If you're sitting at a desk, you just want to make your hands in a very static way, to where they're not moving around too much, because sometimes, depending on how you're using your hands, and if you're using your hands to show a very big gesture or make a big point, then it may come across as you not being so confident. All right, so my next aspect I want to mention to you is to have a very clean and neat appearance. And this is all about body language and appearance. This is the first strategy. So having that clean appearance will be very, very helpful. You want to just be that best version of yourself that we talked about earlier. So think about that person, how they act, how they respond, and then start to dress yourself and act in that particular way. Another thing with your body language you can do, in addition to clasping your hands or layering them together, you can also sit upright. So take a moment now and just practice your upright sitting. Like, sit upright. When you sit a bit taller, it does give the appearance of someone that is more in alignment with how they're trying to present themselves. If you walk into a room and you're all hunched over, you're going to look like you're not the most confident person in the room. So you want to sit up straight and be in a position to where you can actually sit up and be able to command the room, as we are talking about in this particular video. Now, I have more things I want to share with you, but this is something that will come up when I have my VIP coaching session that is going to be taking place next Monday on March 24th. And actually, it's going to happen again on March the 31st. So if you have any questions specifically as it relates to being a woman in leadership, being able to navigate office politics, challenges you might be facing, how to communicate, salary negotiations, interview preparation, how to communicate, gender bias, anything that comes up in the realm of leadership, I will be able to support you on that. I'll have the link in the description below as soon as I upload this video. So before I go into the second strategy, I do want to answer a question. So Salma's question is, he or she is saying, It's just that I can't look at people's eyes when I'm speaking, and whenever I manage to do so, it happens so fast, and I find later that I didn't act like myself or just showed a wrong version of me that I'm so uncomfortable with. Okay, well, oftentimes what will happen if you feel like you have a hard time looking at people's eyes, you may it could be a couple of things. So one part of it might be confidence. So if you're not feeling as confident in yourself, one, or you may be confident in yourself, but you're not confident in a specific topic. So sometimes you might be thrown off by a comment or a topic that you have absolutely no knowledge about whatsoever. That can sometimes make you show that you're not confident, even though you may feel like you are confident to a certain extent. So one thing that you can practice doing is to start working on that fundamental aspect of your confidence that might be missing. That is something that I would absolutely help you with in a coaching setting. That's where we do in executive coaching, is to really find out what are some of those hidden obstacles that oftentimes people don't even know that they actually have. Oftentimes people, they feel some way, but they never understand, why do they feel this way? Is there something that happened previously? How can we help you move forward? So your confidence is number one. So that's one thing you want to focus in on, is your confidence. Because if you're passionate about a topic and it's something you feel really good about and you know you can talk about it, you'll probably be able to maintain eye contact a bit. Now, the process of holding it until you're the person that does not look away takes some practice. It's something that you do have to practice quite a bit. And it's something that I would practice with you in a executive coaching session. You're welcome to join the sessions, the VIP sessions that I have next week and on the 31st. It's a fantastic opportunity. I'll talk more about it at the end, but there's an opportunity to just practice looking at someone. And there's a saying here that I have, and that happens here with cowboys in movies. So if you've ever watched a cowboy movie, because I'm based out of the United States, they have this area in the movie where it's like two cowboys, and there's one looking at each other and the other one's looking at each other, and they're just staring at each other. It's like a stare down almost. So it's somewhat like that, but not to that extent. You don't want to have a scowl on your face or anything like that, but you just want to be able to just look and just continue to look and still be engaged, still show that you're very happy to be there or have a conversation, but just keep that eye contact. So work on confidence first, and then we'll need to practice on having you just to maintain that look of confidence and to really keep that eye contact in place for other people. So I hope that that answers your question. And sometimes, to follow up on the last part, when you have those situations where you don't feel like you did your best, it's okay. We are all still learning. We're all practicing. There's not a book out here that tells you this is exactly what you want to do, which is the reason why I'm trying to help as many people on my channel and to subscribe to my channel, so I can really help you learn what I've learned over the past 20 years as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director that I've used to help my clients be able to make that big transformative change in their lives to where they're at that executive level and they're communicating like an executive. It's okay. You're still learning. As long as you get support and learn as much as you can, it is very, very helpful to allow you to really move forward and recognize that if you made a mistake, learn from it and keep moving on. Don't dwell in it too much, because sometimes when we dwell in something that is negative, it can truly impact you here. And so when that happens, that affects your confidence subconsciously. You may not even be aware of it, but it actually will. So give yourself a little bit of grace. It's all right. At least you know that this is something that you're working on, and you just continue to work on it. So I hope that that is very helpful to you. And I have a response from Joy. Joy said, yes, and breathing deeply helps support confidence and calm the nervous system. Absolutely. That is a very, very good point. Thank you for mentioning that, Joy. And yes, this is helpful as well. Taking deep breaths, whatever type of relaxation, meditation, or whatever it is that you specifically need to do to help you just be more relaxed when you're speaking to someone is helpful. Everybody has their own thing that they do, but find out what that is for you that will put you in that mental state you need to be in to really show off that very, very confident version of yourself. So Sama said, yeah, but can you say that I am the problem? I am just 18 and I can't even talk to people in my class. They think I look intimidating or rude, or even say that I think I'm better than them, which hurts me. Well, it's a good point, but one of the things you can think about in this case is you're just starting to come into yourself, and you'll have to figure out how you want to be perceived as. Be that polite person, but just know that 10 years from now, you may be in a different space than those individuals are. I've found that when people start to develop their communication skills very early, for instance, in terms of what you're talking about right now, they tend to accelerate a lot faster in their career growth, because communication is the foundation to help you be able to accelerate in your career. If you're in a woman in leadership, or if you're in a leadership role, people really do well with communication. There was a video that I watched. It was a conversation, I think, with Jordan Belfort. He's like the Wolf of Wall Street, and he talked about a meeting with Bill Gates and with Warren Buffett. And there was a student in the class that asked him and said, "What do you think is the best way to make me more marketable as I am in my career?" And Warren Buffett said to work on your marketing and sales, and to work on your communication. So communication is really important, and it's okay if you have a different communication style now. You might just be at a higher level than other people, and that's okay. So just keep in mind that it's all right if you're doing something a bit different right now. You're welcome to, have a conversation, and we can talk more about it. But just keep in mind, it's okay if you're doing things a little bit differently. And this is an opportunity for you to just start to grow and develop and learn as much as you can while you're at this place in your journey. Continue to do what you're doing. And people may think it may look rude and intimidating, but that's just because you may be here and they may be a little bit lower. So that's what I would give to you. This happens a lot of times when you are making that transition to a leadership role. People will act differently to you, especially if it's your peers and you've been promoted within the role. People will tend to act a little bit differently in that case. So I hope that helps you. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will absolutely respond to you. Now, we talked about one of the strategies, which was body language. Body language and appearance is very important when you're trying to make sure that when you speak, other people are listening to you. Now, the second strategy I want to go into is what you say. What you say is critically important as well when you're trying to make sure that when you speak, other people listen to you. The secret to this is to say less and listen more. The reason for this is that I found when executives are speaking, or if you've encountered an executive, let me know in the comments below. When you've spoken with an executive before, how was your experience? What happened? What did you gain from the conversation? Let me know in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, please let me know. I'd like to know what your experiences are. But what I've found that executives, if they are good executives, they actually will listen a lot more than they speak. So when they have something to say, people are wanting to know what they have to say because they're not the ones that's talking all the time. Now, we've all been in situations where we have talked or been in meetings where people just keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Have you been in a meeting like that where you just have this one person that just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking? Well, over time, people get tired of hearing that person talk. So if you happen to be the person that doesn't speak that often, but when you speak, you have something to say, people will look and say, "Oh, I didn't know that she was speaking. I wonder what she has to say," because you are the person that does not speak all the time. So that is definitely something I would recommend for you to try to implement into your strategy, is to speak less and listen more. And this helps you because if you're able to listen more, then people will be able to understand and acknowledge that you are listening to them, and you'll be able to actually answer the questions that they have appropriately because you listened to what was actually being asked. Another part of that is to be articulate and concise. Try your best to be careful of the words that you say. And this is focusing on what to say. Now, I can go into a lot more detail into this in another video. Just let me know in the comments below if you want me to. But being articulate is important. The best way to do this is to, one, practice speaking. Practice speaking as much as you can. But another part that people don't really talk about that often, I don't see much on YouTube, is that you want to try to minimize slang in your vocabulary. What I mean specifically by this is that every culture has their own slang. Every culture has their own slang. And at times, if you are in a specific environment or you're talking to a specific group of people, then you may need to use some form of slang to help those individuals know what you're talking about and how you're communicating so they understand what you're saying. However, if you are in a leadership role and you want to stand out and you want people to listen to you when you speak, you want to minimize slang as much as you can. So let me give you an example of something that I've worked on personally for myself and I've helped my clients with too. So my slang here would be yeah. So yeah, nah, I don't know. So instead of saying yeah, I could say yes. Instead of saying nah, I could say no. Those are ways to help you be more articulate in terms of how you're speaking to other people. Because when you speak to people in a more articulate way, then they will listen to you because you are speaking a bit differently than other people. Oftentimes in leadership settings, what happens is the leaders are there, the executives are there, people start to become really lax and they start to just become really unprofessional. I personally have seen this as a C-suite and as a director. I've seen this over the years and people will start to become more lax. However, if you're the person that tends to be more articulate and more concise in terms of how you're speaking to other people, people will actually pay attention to what you have to say because you're not talking in a somewhat unprofessional tone as everyone else. So this is a great tip for you to use to help you with this also because, as I mentioned, when you are a leader, leaders speak differently than other people. When you are an executive, executives speak differently than other people, or they should speak better than other people. And so keep that in mind. It may feel odd for you to speak this way initially, but the more you do it, you'll start to develop your executive presence and people will start to recognize, oh, this is how this person communicates all the time. Now, I'll share with you a bonus to this. A bonus to this in terms of that communication is to be consistent with it. We all have days where things just go not ideal and things are not working the way we want them to be, and it's a cloudy day outside and it's raining and there's a thunderstorm. We all have days like that, but the key to developing your executive presence is to be consistent all of the time, whether it's raining outside, a thunderstorm and lightning, or if there's a rainbow outside and the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and everything is beautiful. You want to be that same consistent person all the time, even if you're stressed out and frustrated. This is a higher level communication skill that a lot of people struggle with, and especially leaders struggle with it, and especially executives do too, because oftentimes you're in these roles and so much is being put at you at one time. You're just trying to put out fire here, put out fire there. But if you show your team that you're frustrated, then it can make it a bit challenging for you. Now, are there times when you strategically need to show emotion? Absolutely. That's definitely a higher level skill, and that's something that you'll want to subscribe to my channel to learn a bit more about. But there's times when you do need to show emotion, but majority of the time you need to really appear very, very calm in terms of how you're communicating. Now, before I go into the last strategy I want to share with you, I do want to go back to the comments to see what was said. Okay, so Joy said, laugh out loud. Yes, I have definitely been in meetings with chatterboxes. Yes, I have too. And it's, after a while, if you think about it in this way, this is a great statement that you made. So let's put it in the reverse. We're talking about building your executive presence, communicating at that higher level, and really being that person. So the same way that we talked about these techniques that we're talking about today, body language, your appearance, what you say, can be the exact same type of strategies that can turn things around and take your executive presence way down very, very fast. And so when you have people like that are chatterboxes, those are the individuals that will have the name of being a chatterbox. And people in the organization or in your business know Susie's a chatterbox. So if your name is Susie, I don't mean you, Susie, necessarily, but Susie is a chatterbox. So just know that these same strategies can work for you, or they can actually impact your executive presence in a very negative way. So you don't want to have the name of being chatterbox, which is why you want to listen more than you speak, which is a great comment. Thank you so much, Joy. And Joy also said, I've definitely adopted intentional silence to observe and listen to. My experience has actually commanded the attention of more senior level leaders as well as my colleagues. Absolutely. There is power in silence. If you can master being silent, it is so incredibly important because silence itself speaks volumes. People think that if you're silent, you're being submissive and you're not saying anything. There's a balance there. There's times when you need to say something, there's times when you don't need to say anything. But silence is something that can be used as a strength and can help you communicate to higher levels of leadership. All right, LP 2013, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for being here again. I appreciate you coming on the lives. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I'm here to help you on your journey any way that I can. So the last strategy I have that will help you to be listened to when you speak is how you say what you say. Now, how you say it is just as important as what you say in your body language. This is very important. And how you say things should be in a very polite, professional manner. You should not yell or scream. I know that sounds probably as if, why would I say anything like that? We're talking about a professional topic. You would be surprised. There are people that are supposed to be leaders and executives that yell and scream. They do. And you definitely don't want to be in that category. The same way we talked about the chatterbox is not the definition we want to have for you as a yeller or the person that screams at people. We don't want that at all as you're developing yourself. So that's very important. Be very, very polite. Sometimes you're going to need to lower the octave of your voice depending on what the topic is and what you need to say. Let me give you an example of this. If you speak at a tone of voice consistently all the time, let's say I speak normally like this. This is typically how I speak. If I'm really excited, I may raise my voice and I may talk maybe a little bit louder. But if I suddenly have my voice a little bit lower and I want to tell you something that's very, very important, then you're probably going to look, I wonder what she has to say. Let me listen. And you can use this same strategy when you are in a room of executives or in a room of leaders. This is the exact same strategy that you can use, because if you lower your voice and it's a bit different than what you normally speak in terms of the tone of your voice, people will notice that something is different and they want to see what's going on. People just by nature, they want to know what's going on. And so you can use that as leverage to be able to help you advance in your career, because if you have something that is very important, or there's a statement you need to make, or there's, let's say, a point that you need to persuade somebody with, and if you change how you say it, people will say, wow, you know what? She was really serious about that. I could tell she really needed to know some answers about that. These are strategies, these are next level strategies that people do not talk about when you are trying to develop your executive presence, which is why this is a great opportunity for you to subscribe to my channel so that you can learn more. I'm here to really help you and give you those next level, those higher level communication skills so that you can communicate at a higher level than your peers. You will absolutely do it following this channel. Now, I do want to say, in addition to being polite and changing your tone of voice, one of the most important aspects of how you say something is, are you ready? Energy. There has to be some energy there. If you talk like in a monotone voice all the time, there's no energy there. And so people are going to think that you don't really care about a topic, or you may not be passionate about a topic. You definitely want to make sure that you have a lot of energy there, a lot of energy to showcase that you are really excited. You want to talk about this. You want to get this project completed. You want to make sure you're advancing or completing whatever metric or KPI you're trying to accomplish. You want to bring that energy to the entire audience that you're speaking with. And these are tips I will guarantee you that will help you to stand out as you are becoming a leader, or if you are already in a seasoned role and perhaps you're feeling a bit stuck in your career and you're feeling like people are not ignoring you a bit, then there's things that we can do when we work together is to help you be able to enhance your skills. Now, I'm going to do a brief recap of the strategies that I shared with you on how to speak so that they listen, but I want to go back to the chat and see what comments were made. So Joy said, so true, yelling and screaming is in the same lower vibrational category as being condescending and or sarcastic. Absolutely. I lose respect very quickly for those types of humans. Absolutely. And a lot of times people they don't even recognize that they do it. That's the part I believe that is sometimes really sad, because people don't even know they do it. They have been taught this way. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so incredibly passionate about being able to provide you all with support here, because many of us have not necessarily been in professional settings as we were growing up. And we have been those individuals in our families or our generations that are our trailblazers, that are the individuals that are doing leadership roles, going into executive roles, running our own businesses, managing big companies. And we're kind of like picked up, put into the roles. Like, here you go. You have all this education and this is the things that you need to do. But there's a certain part of it, communication wise, that is missing, because we may not have been taught how to do that ourselves. And that's the reason why I want to make sure that I'm sharing as much as I can with you and providing you with as much support as I can, because I realize that sometimes you're not sure how to navigate some of those very, very complex or very contingent situations that come up and still showcase yourself as an executive, regardless of how stressed out the situation may be or not. So that's a very good point, Joy, because people will lose respect if you're at that higher level. And for me personally, I do the same thing as well. If someone starts to yell and scream, I just completely just listen. What they say goes in the ear and goes right out. I don't really listen to it that much. And so, as we talked about with Chatterbox, this is a great way to lose your executive presence, to lose your trust in your team, is to yell and scream at people or be really rude and condescending. There's ways to have a communication and be direct and still be articulate, but you want to do it in the right way. Absolutely. So we have Leroy Adams say hello, welcome back. Hope you have doing well today. If you have any questions specifically as it relates to enhancing your leadership presence, being able to communicate at that higher level, or any leadership challenges you've experienced, or want to just get some guidance in terms of how you can move up in your career, put it in the comments below. And if you're watching the replay, please do the same as well. Now, I want to go ahead and summarize for everyone that is watching and has listened to our dialogue. I appreciate you all so much for being on the live today. I did mention yesterday that my channel hit a milestone. We were at 300 subscribers yesterday, which is a small channel, but I'm very, very grateful, because it's taken a while for the channel to start gaining subscribers. And I found that the lives are really helping you all. So I'm going to keep doing those. As I mentioned before, it'll be Monday through Friday. I'll be live around about the same time, and just be able to provide any support that I can to you all as you are navigating through your journey. So if you are just now joining, I just gave a summary of some game-changing strategies that you should try to incorporate into your overall process to help you be able to listen and be that person that stands out. And so if you want to be able to speak in a way that other people listen to you, do these 3 things. Focus on these 3 things. I'm going to give you the bonus first. Think about that best version of yourself. That was number 1 before we even go into strategies. But the first strategy is your body language and your appearance. You want to focus in on that. Make sure it's in the place where you need it to be, that reflects that best version of yourself. The second strategy is to focus on what to say. Think about what you want to say and focus in on how you want to communicate. And then the third strategy is how to speak. Be mindful of what exactly you're saying and the tone of voice that you are using with other people. These type of strategies, if you use them, will help you to advance in your career much faster than your peers. Now, I do want to share with y'all, I have a very exciting opportunity that is coming up. It is a coaching session that is going to be for 3 hours on March the 24th and 3 hours on March the 31st, where you have the opportunity to sit with me, and I'm here for 3 hours straight. I will answer your questions. I will provide you with insight and guidance and help you get some structure in terms of where your next steps are for your career. It is a group type of format, and I will tell you that I actually was in a coaching program myself And they did something like this where it was a group of people that were together and they asked a lot of questions to the moderator at the time. And believe it or not, you'll get your questions answered because you're going to learn from my over 20 years of experience that will fast track you into that next career that you're trying to go to. But you will actually learn a lot from your peers, from the individuals that are in the group about different challenges they're facing or different aspects that they're trying to work on. And I found that to be so incredibly helpful, not just having my question answered specifically, but having that group component where I can learn from other individuals in terms of what they're doing specifically for themselves. And so it's a great opportunity if you're really trying to level up your communication skills, your leadership skills, you're trying to advance into that next level of your career, and you need some help, you need some guidance to talk about salary, interviewing, gender bias, any challenges you face as a woman in leadership, or maybe some challenges you're facing that are a bit more complex, it is a great place to be. I will have the link in the description below so that you all have access to that information. And if you're following me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and on Facebook as well, it'll be there also. But just know that it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't know how often I'm going to do those because it does take a lot of time to get it together. But I want to be able to provide you all with as much support as I can. And I found that 3 hours for 2 days is going to be a lot of information to help you join. There's a general admission, and then of course there's VIP. A general admission, you're going to have the ability to listen to the recording, and you also will be able to ask questions. But if you decide you want to go into VIP, then there's a lot more that goes with it. There is a 15-minute call that you and I have privately. If you're not able to attend, then you're welcome. You'll be able to have access to the recording as well. And if for some reason you can't make it, you are welcome to send me your question and I will respond to you via video in terms of your question. So that's another perk for VIP. In addition to having access to my executive communication masterclass for women in leadership, that is something that's going to be included in the VIP as well. And just, it's going to be a fun event. So if you really want to try to advance in your career, one of the most important things that I would say to help you on your journey is to get yourself around people that are at that higher level, that are in that almost mastermind type group, that are thinking at a higher level just like you are. If you're with people that are not quite at your level just yet, that's okay to provide them with support. But if you're really trying to elevate, it is best for you to be able to get at that higher level and be in the setting where people are at that are really trying to make moves in their career. So I will put that in the description below. You'll be able to see that information. And I'm going to put a poll on my channel as well. Let me know, what was your favorite strategy? Which strategy did you like the most? There's so many more things I can go into, but I know time is limited with our live today, and I appreciate you all for joining and spending just some time with me today. I appreciate you so much, and if you ever have anything that you need help with, reach out to me at info@exciteexcellence.org. I'd be happy to help you any way that I can. I really want to help as many women in leadership as I can to elevate in their careers. And if you happen to not be in that audience, I'm here to support you and help you become that amazing leader that you want to be. So Joy said, congratulations. Thank you so much, Joy. We're really excited about the milestone. It's incredibly important. It's been a long time coming, but we're just keep growing, and I'm very excited about that. And the more individuals that know will be the more individuals that can elevate themselves, and not only just elevate themselves, but they're actually elevating their generation and their generation and their generation after that. It is a movement that I'm trying to accomplish here. And I really want to make sure that we are preparing our future generations for success, because many of us are just now getting into the fields, and we're still kind of finding our way in terms of how we want to communicate as executives. So if y'all don't have any additional questions, I appreciate your time today. And if you're watching the replay, please feel free to place something in the comments. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if the information was helpful to you. And also like the video. I appreciate those of you who have already liked the video. Believe it or not, when you like a video or you comment on it, etc., it really does go out to more people. The algorithm sees it and it starts to push it out to other people. So I want to impact as many women in leadership as I can, or individuals that are very passionate about enhancing their leadership skills. So I appreciate you all for being here today. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.